To News Hour. Coming up in this edition, President Julius Maada Bio receives a delegation from the United Arab Emirates. Vice President Dr. Mohamed Julde Jallow commissions Leon Rock Metal Group's 30 million tons per annum processing heavy fuel oil power plant. And Sierra Leone Law School plays host to the country's first elected judge at the International Criminal Court. These stories and more lined up in this edition of the news. Stay with us for the next 30 minutes. First news out tonight. President Julius Maada Bio has received a delegation from the United Arab Emirates led by Sheikh bin Nahyan Al Nahyan. The meeting was a follow-up from previous engagements between the two countries that had produced positive outcomes. Our State House correspondent, Hawa Mosiri, reports.
The head of the delegation, Sheikh Shaban bin Nahyan Al Nahyan, told President Julius Maada Bio that the President of the United Arab Emirates, Sheikh Mohammed bin Zayed Al Nahyan, wanted to strengthen the relationship between Sierra Leone and the UAE. He said recent engagements which President Bio had with their government officials produced positive outcomes and that led them to make a state visit. The head of the delegation went on. Their visits would likewise find pathways to have a win-win situation for both countries.
We have had many technical visits between our two countries that have resulted to very, very positive outcomes and clarity in where my boss, His Highness Mohammed, and the government of the UAE would see this relationship develop and prosper, and we're very pleased to establish this kind of cooperation and partnership with Sierra Leone. Mr. President, you have been very generous, and there's a lot we could learn and benefit from your country in terms of processing, in terms of course, business, trading, on the principle of win-win.
President Julius Maada Bio received the team with strong compliments. He lauded the President of the UAE for his consideration in sending a team on a state visit and a follow-up on their bilateral engagements.
We have here, of course, the Minister of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation, and the Minister of Agriculture, and then the Minister of Trade and Industry for the purpose of this meeting.
The Sierra Leone and the United Arab Emirates have had strong bilateral relationships for several decades now and have been supporting each other in several ways, not limited to the economy, education, and global peace. SABC TV News Eye in Freetown, Hawa Mosiri reporting.
The Vice President, Dr. Mohamed Julde Jallow, has commissioned the Leon Rock Metal Group's 30 million tons per annum processing and heavy fuel oil power plant, which is $500 million investment. The plant, if completed, according to the Vice President, will double the production of the company's iron ore and increase revenue generation for the country. We bring you highlights of the event.
Today it means all the mining communities in this country, outside mining companies that they operate, they get opportunity for get 1% of the total profit of that company. And then they translate into billions and billions of leos That 1% they help them community, then they for let them able to undertake big development project. The paramount chief, when one of the beneficiary chiefs of them inside this particular mining community, don't can testify. Lot of government say, oh, that the paramount chief say, then they benefit extremely from where President Bill come, he put up on this mining. The other one that the country, where the mining company then they work, then they pay tax, then they pay royalties. So today, if we there, we can launch another 30 million metric tons, it means when they increase the production, they go increase the royalty, they go increase the revenue of government. For the company itself, they say we get responsibility as a government for make sure say we create the conducive environment for let them invest, let them make profit, and also make them get an environment outside them go able to do their work and nobody not go disturb them. So when I see the vision of President Bio, we say the community for benefit,
well, so far
the company where they come for benefit, and the country as a whole for benefit. And since 2018, Nadande we don't do, and when I see the Minister of Mines we get the responsibility for implement that 3C policy, they themselves don't talk and I adjust. Additionally, this tea where we can launch today, where we remove from 12,000 to 30, from 12 million to 30 million. The president of the company, Mr. Collins, don't say, right now, there are over 6,000 jobs that Kinhu has provided. And that in 2025, Kinhu is going to provide about around 15,000 jobs.
That was the Vice President, Dr. Mohammed Julde Jallo, commissioning the oil field plant for Leon Rock. The Sierra Leone Law School has played host to the country's first elected judge at the International Criminal Court, Justice Miata Samba, to do a public lecture on the procedural phases of the International Criminal Court systems. Joseph Toure was there and now reports.
The move by the institution to host Justice Miata Samba to speak on the subject, the procedural phases on the International Criminal Court systems, was anticipated to open the horizon of law students. She sailed through legal issues like the dynamics of common and civil laws at the ICC, investigating crimes, examining evidence, and witness and victims protection.
Under the common law, both parties, by that I mean the prosecution and the defense, are responsible for collection of evidence independently. But under the civil law system, only one centralized entity is entitled to collect evidence. It could be in the hands of the prosecutor, as would happen in, for example, in Germany, or it could be in the hands of an investigating magistrate or an investigating judge.
Justice Samba also threw light on crimes under the jurisdiction of the court, crimes of genocide, crimes against humanity, war crimes, among others. She also disclosed that application for the arrest of suspects is confidential in nature. The public lecture took nearly 2 hours, but that appeared to students as few minutes because of the wealth of knowledge gained on international criminal justice during the presentation.
It was very insightful. She also mentioned victims and the roles they play as witnesses and also how they get reparations. And she spoke about the trust fund for victims. I actually learned a whole lot. I enjoyed it.
I learned that equity is still not past childbearing age. In a sense, now we've got a new concept wherein suspects' accounts were frozen until after trial. And when they are found guilty, this asset will be converted into compensating their victims.
Dr. Abubakar Bangura is the director of Sierra Leone Law School. For him, public lectures of such nature are crucial for law students.
The purpose of introducing this eminent guest lecture series is to enable our students to be well-rounded learners, not just grading, cramming and passing exams, but by listening to experts in different fields. Like for the past few months, we've been fortunate to have very important guest lecturers like the ICC prosecutor, Chief Tako. So the value of these public lectures, guest lectures, cannot be overemphasized because our students learn a lot.
Justice Miata Samba is the first Sierra Leonean to be elected as judge at the International Criminal Court. She was called to the bar over 2 decades ago and has been a pride to the country, a mentor to many legal practitioners, and above all, an inspiration to female law students. SLBC, Joseph Toure reporting.
Well, we'll now move on to the fight against Kush. The mayor of Freetown has said in the past few months the council has seen an extreme escalation in the numbers of unclaimed corpses lying on the streets, many of which are Kush victims. Yvonne Akisoya made the disclosure at the roundtable discussion with youths on the way forward to address the Kush epidemic. Cecilia Sisse witnessed the event and our reports.
The way how these schools they go, who then our future leader after His Excellency the President or the Mayor, because the woman in the man they all are Kush. We they look them at it. They let it so food stop plenty. Any you smell when you see now if you buy cow beef, you know them may eat. How we know? We get the responsibility as a citizen of the country. Mama, as well as Papa.
According to Mayor of Freetown, Yvonne Akisoya, there has been a massive increase of deaths of youth and unclaimed corpses on the streets.
Over the last 8 months, we've collected roughly 150 bodies. In places where they may not be, from most of the calls we get, it's because someone's died on a main road. You know, and it's in front of somebody's house and they're distressed or it's blocking. So can you imagine that probably or possibly there are other victims that nobody calls us about?
These alarming figures, plus a good number of calls the council has received from youth leaders and parents of Kush victims on the national crisis, prompted the need for engagement with committed youth to further collaborate and map out possible ways to address the Kush pandemic. Participants engaged in group works to bring out solutions for addressing Kush.
Community efforts, because addressing drugs needs community efforts to do the job. And secondly, we need to train professionals or persons who have passion to work with this public health concern in our country. Everybody could talk about drugs, but if we don't have people who are well trained to address these people, at the end of the day, we'll have another problem.
Ideas from this roundtable discussion will be included in the Say No to Kush intervention plan of the Freetown City Council for further actions. SLBC News, Cecilia Sisse.
The chief of Banana Water Community, Yambo Pose, has embarked on a Kush sensitization drive among youths in the community following the clarion call by President Bio. The engagement was geared towards transforming them into useful citizens. Chief Yabum Pose also supported them with food and called on the government, non-governmental organizations, and other humanitarians to join in saving the lives of young people currently dying of the Kush drug. She pledged her support in intensifying the fight against Kush and other harmful substances in the Banana Water community. As the fight against Kush and other harmful substances intensifies in the country, the National Union of Sierra Leonean Students has pledged the support to work in solidarity with existing structures to eradicate the drug, which has led to some students dropping out of college due to the addiction. Moses Kante was at the press conference and now reports.
The significant number of students dropping out of colleges and universities because of the intake of Kush became very worrisome for National Union of Sierra Leone Students. Thus the reason they choose the theme, Saving Our Future. National Union of Sierra Leone Students President Rex Bonafar said the union has done several sensitization in the spirit to combat the harmful substance. He however noted collaborating and participating with the government and other institutions were crucial in their response to Kush.
As a union that means well for this country and its citizens, we cannot turn blind eye to the countless lives that have been shattered, dreams that have been extinguished, and families that have torn apart by the grief of addiction. At this moment, we cannot keep mute. We cannot act like we do not care. We cannot keep silent about the grave effects of Kush and other harmful substances.
Spokesperson, Office of National Security, said several arrests have been made across the country, including the discovery of some containers full of harmful substances. He said the ONS will man strategic transit points in the country to curtail the supply chain. Minister of Technical and Higher Education, Dr. Amatulai Rui, applauded NUS for its effort to join the fight against Kush. She went on to encourage final year students to tailor their research paper on profiling solutions on Kush.
The Ministry of Information and Civic Education organized a town hall meeting to talk about Kush. And we saw the level of engagement and also participation from senior members of the government. Ministers, the Honorable Vice President was there, ministers were there. That is just to show how we see this as a concern and how we ensure that we realize that it is not it's all hands on deck. It cannot be addressed by just one individual or one ministry.
Several stakeholders and students pointed out the need for an urgent integration and sensitization not only on Kush but on other substances which are talked about frequently. For SLBC, Moses Conte.
In the heart of the American election season, with the country's eyes fixed on its pulsating democracy, the essence of news media during elections came to the forefront, especially in pivotal states like Nevada and Ohio. These states, known for their diverse populations and often swinging political inclinations, rely on their state media to make informed decisions about the elections. Julian Koma has more.
In Nevada, a state where the margins could be razor thin, one of the local news outlets, the Nevada Public Radio Station, rose to the occasion. In a meeting with journalist Paul Bugger, the multimedia content producer at the Nevada Public Radio Station, zoomed in to share his views.
One of the things that I think we are striving to do as a newsroom is talk more about the issues and the policies and how these politicians and candidates are affecting those policies and how that matters to Americans within Nevada.
Ohio, often referred to as a political bellwether, saw its share of the media's pivotal role in elections. The Lantern is a news outlet within the Ohio State University. Its journalists explain how they package news so it would be interesting to the young generation.
Like, as journalists, it's not our job to persuade anybody to do anything, but what we can do is provide as much information as possible so that they have the knowledge that if they want to go out and vote, they can, and they have the knowledge that they need to that they need to do so. And so I think that that is our main focus, is making sure that we are providing all of the information that we can to them on candidates or places, polling places that they can go out to vote, so that we can provide them with all of the information so that they feel that they are well-read and that they have the knowledge to be able to make those decisions.
The story of news media during elections in America, especially in Nevada and Ohio, was not just about reporting, but was a narrative of empowerment, accountability, and the unyielding belief in the power of informed democracy. SLBC News Hour, Julian Kouma.
The National Commission for Social Action, with support from the German government, has conducted a day annual pro-poor coordination and information sharing at the Growth for Peace Consolidation Youth Empowerment Project. The meeting was to update senior directorates, project managers and stakeholders on the latest development on the inclusion of 3 other districts in the project, which spans from 2024 to 2027, and to delegate their phasing out strategies and future plans for all the districts. Moses Conte has more.
The 17.5 million euro extended project from 2024 to 2027 was a corporate agreement signed between the government of Sierra Leone and the government of Germany, which led to the inclusion of 3 other districts, Bo, Moyamba and Bond. Commissioner, National Commission for Social Action, Ambassador Ernest Ndomaina, said the project was part of President Bio's drive in the Feed Salon agenda, stating that one of the main objectives of the project was to contribute to youth employment in rural areas.
We are here this morning because you are strategic friends and partners. We cannot move into the new project without coming to discuss our plans and also coming to talk about how we move into Bond and then later into Moyamba and Bo. So we need your advice, we need your points, your suggestions for the good of all. We know His Excellency the President, Dr. Julius Maada Bio, had indicated to this nation, and he is working extremely hard to ensure that we feed ourselves or grow what we eat or eat what we grow. We cannot do that without you guys, without you strategic friends and partners.
From 2019 to 2021, Kailau, Kono, Konadugu and Kabala districts were targeted, and in 2022, Kambia district was included, while the proposed 3 other districts will be later included. Representatives from various districts appreciate government through NACSA, but they raise concern on the phasing out and sustainability strategies, stating that some district projects are yet to be completed. Several MDAs and partners commended NACSA and pledged their unflinching support in achieving the desired objective of the project. Program Manager NACSA, Foreman Sari, pointed out key indicators and directives to be followed in developing their plans, which he said for some it should be linked to the construction of feeder roads connected to agricultural districts. He further stated that as funding increases, more districts will be included, while making provision for youth in those districts to be actively involved. For SLBC, Moses Conte reporting.
The Ministry of Health, through the expanded program on immunization, joined other high malaria burden countries in Africa to apply the malaria vaccine introduction. In December 2023, the country received the first tranche of 550,000 vaccines, and the launch of the vaccine is on the 12th of April 2024 in Pujang district. Program Manager expanded program on immunization, Dr. Desmond Madakambai, spoke more to Dennis Fraser.
Well, so far we are going to target 15 districts, and the whole of the 15 districts will be targeted, with the exception of Western area, Urban.
What are the targeted areas, to be specific?
Well, for now, as we said, we are targeting 15 districts across the country, with the exception of Western area, Urban. And we'll be targeting all and communities within those 15 districts, communities where there are health facilities, and those health facilities have their catchment population. So, for example, if we go to Falaba, the whole of Falaba district will be targeted. Vaccines will be distributed to all facilities doing and vaccination, routine vaccines that have been given vaccines, and then those facilities will also deliver the malaria vaccine together with all other vaccines.
Now, safety around the vaccine is no longer a question, but for a lot of people who are still of the opinion that they have this fear mongering among themselves when it comes to, taking of vaccines. We saw that, quite recently with the COVID vaccines and other vaccines that have been in the open space for the public. What will you say if you had to speak to that?
Well, one thing I could say, the vaccine is safe. This vaccine has been administered to more than 3 million people in 3 countries, and there were no serious concerns. We are not ruling the fact that, because normally you react to vaccines, people do react to vaccines sometimes, but this vaccine is really very safe. And of course, there may be minor issues, but there have been no major issue of concern. And to assure the public, we have what we have done is we have set up committees or reactivated committees across the 15 districts called the Adverse Event Following Immunization Committees, AEFI committees, to follow up on each and every child receiving the malaria vaccines. We have engaged communities, we have engaged CHWs working in communities to report any case of AEFI, like any child having a reaction after taking vaccine. Not only the malaria vaccines, we have been doing it for COVID vaccines, for other vaccines, but we have strengthened it since the malaria vaccine is a new vaccine. And we have also ensured we have drugs available at district and then hospitals so that any child that will have any reaction will be treated free. So those engagements are ongoing across the country because it's possible. It's just like we eating food. I may eat something and I'm fine, and you may eat something and you react to it. But we want to ensure whosoever react to any vaccine is being taken care of. But this vaccine has been used in in 3 countries, and now even 2 other countries have introduced this vaccine, and so far there have been no major concern around the malaria vaccine. And also, as a country, we are forming a research group to also follow up on the children, a cross-section of children that will be receiving this vaccine.
Now, consequently, this vaccine, the first phase of this vaccine is mainly for pregnant women and children under 5. Considering the seriousness of malaria, a disease, is there plans for future, to hold it for even adults of other sex and ages?
Well, for now, the malaria vaccine will be focusing more on children under 2 and not pregnant women. And of course, the vaccine will be taken in 4 doses. So the entry point into the schedule is at 6 months. So children that are 6 months will take the first vaccine dose at 6 months. Then they will take a second dose at 7, a third at 8 months, then a final dose at 18 months. So we are focusing for now on children because that's where most are dying as a result of malaria. And we have seen from our data that the majority of the children dying as a result of malaria. So we want to focus on that group for now, ensure they are safe, ensure they don't die as a result of malaria. And also, the malaria vaccine is a new vaccine. As such, the vaccine is not available in huge amount nationwide. So maybe in the future, and with the leadership and direction of the Ministry of Health, as we go, we may expand on the vaccine. But for now, we are targeting on that age group because that's where the majority are dying as a result of malaria.
He is the Program Manager, Expanded Program on Immunization, Dr. Desmond Madakambai, talking there on the malaria vaccine. Owners of various tailoring shops in the west end of Freetown have raised concern over what they refer to as low turnout of customers ahead of the Eid al-Fitr holiday compared to last year. They say this affected them negatively. Dennis Reza has the story.
Many residents in Freetown are Muslims, and during the festival of Eid, which is usually celebrated with early morning prayers, wearing of one's nicest clothes is common during this particular occasion. In fact, for some Muslims, it is believed that this is the best time of the year to put on one's nicest apparel to suit the occasion. But how has business been for those who are in the business of sewing cloth for people who go out for prayers?
At the top tailoring boutique in New Englandville, staff had little or nothing to do, and some were even sleeping. Abdul, the owner of the boutique,
said business has been very slow this year. He was, however, optimistic of a better flow of business during the subsequent Islamic holidays.
Thank you no more. That's much more.
We say thanks to God, although in the past we used to have more customers, especially in the last week of Ramadan. This place should have been flooded with customers. This is not the case.
Thank you. Yes.
One of his staff, Pose Bangura, attributed the slow business to the current economic situation in the country.
Like last year and all the previous holidays by this time, we used to pass the night in the shop just to be able to deliver on time to the number of customers who come here for our service.
At the correctional service tailoring department at New Englandville, Freetown, workers were busy sewing cloths for other customers rather than the Muslims, who usually put pressure on them. Head of the institution, Abdurrahman Toure, said some of their customers could not even make full payments yet.
But this particular time, we sleep in a year last year. Day and night we work, at least for them.
By this time last year, we were under intense pressure. We used to work day and night so that we can be able to sew different attire for our customers to be used for prayers.
Most of the things are for the soul. Until somebody gets buried, something like that.
Both the owner of MB Tailoring Shop at Pike Street and Jalos Design on Willoughby Lane, Brookfields, disclosed that they have been struggling to pay some of their staff because of the limited customers they get recently amid the Ramadan month. SLBC, Dennis Fraser reporting.
The Minister of Health, Dr. Austin Demby, has reopened newly renovated wards at the Connaught Hospital. Wards 7 and 8 are two critical wards in the country's main referral hospital because they provide specialized medical services for patients with critical ailments. Emmanuel Samoa reports.
Ward 7 and 8 were the two newly renovated wards at the Connaught Teaching Hospital. Clean were the stairs that lead to the wards. Stainless is the white paint that is placed on the ceilings and top areas of the walls. Classy is the blue paint placed on the lower areas of the wall. With soft mattresses and shiny tiled floors, one would forget that he or she is in a hospital environment. Ward 7 is a specialized ward that hosts patients with heart and kidney problems, but was out of use for some time now because of its dilapidated state. The hospital care manager of Connaught Teaching Hospital, Dr. Ibrahim Kapua, says their commitment to providing top-notch medical care facility was the reason they renovated the ward with the revenue they generated from the hospital.
We celebrate the commissioning of the newly renovated Ward 7, which is the cardio-renal unit, a testament to our unwavering commitment to providing top-notch healthcare facilities.
Ward 8 is a male medical ward for male patients with critical ailments, but it was as well out of use because it was in a bad shape for over 18 years, which prompted the Sisters of St. Joseph's of Cluny to refurbish it.
Sisters of St. Joseph of Cluny, we're going to not only make beds, but we're going to ensure that quality health care in this hospital, the Connaught Teaching Hospital, will be brought to standard.
The Minister of Health, Dr. Austin Demby, could not hold it but commended the Connaught management for using their revenue to develop the hospital and for forging strong health care alliances that ensure best possible outcomes for patients.
4 years ago, we were very perturbed to see that this institution has really gone down the drain considerably. You don't give up. It's like a sick person comes in there, very, very sick. What do? You don't give up on them. You're committed to turn the life around. And as a government, as a people, we're committed to turn our hospital around.
Dr. Austin Dembe encouraged the public to take their sick ones to Connaught Hospital, adding that the Connaught Teaching Hospital is currently better capacitated to provide quality health care to and for all Sierra Leoneans. Emmanuel Samoa, SLBC.
Seed Global Health Sierra Leone has boosted the McKinney Regional Hospital with medical consignments and other items worth over $11,000. The support was part of the organization's continued efforts to help promote and improve health care delivery in the region. Hassan Forekama reports for McKinney.
Speaking to SLBC at the Regional Government Hospital in McKinney, the Country Director Seed Global Health Sierra Leone, Mustafa Soni, said the program, which started with the regional hospital, has had significant impact and that in the last 2 years, they have given extensive training to midwives on various skills to enhance effective health service delivery.
So that's why we said, despite the fact that our emphasis lies on the education and the training, we'll come in a little way we can to support you so that you'll be able to ensure that these patients, they got the necessary supply, the necessary drugs, so can save people's lives. So the main is to make sure we continue to improve that particular outcome. And we are very proud of that.
He said in 2021, maternal mortality was alarming. However, with concerted efforts, it has been reduced to 60%. Mr. Soni said Seed Global Health drew success in their work in McKinney, so they decided to expand the services to the southern region in mid-2022. He said the donation was not only vital to the overall work of the hospital, but it was also a boost to the trainings they offer to the midwives, adding that the knowledge gained could fully be exhibited with the right equipment they have supplied.
We are very delighted to our donors back in the United States of America who are really providing this opportunity for us. They are giving the money for you to have these things. These materials we are seeing in front of you, it was over $11,700. Right? They require good consumables, drugs, and medical supply.
The country director of Seed Global Health Sierra Leone said they were working on modalities to stretch their coverage to all the regions and the western area by 2025. The Chief Nursing and Midwife Officer, Ministry of Health, Mary Fuller, said the donation would give speed and quality to their work. She expressed gratitude to Seed Global for their overwhelming support to not only McKinney, but also other places to improve in the health sector in the country. She encouraged health workers to double up their efforts and always operate as a team. The Medical Superintendent, Regional Hospital, McKinney, Dr. Joseph Kamanda Sisi, said the materials came at a time needed most. He said they would play a vital role in the day-to-day running of the hospital. Among them were equipment and medicines dynamic for categories in the free health care.
The Spiritan Sierra Leone community has officially launched its 160 years of their presence in Sierra Leone, fostering education, social and spiritual development in the country. As Emmanuel Samoa reports, the launch of the anniversary coincided with the launch of a proposed Spiritan provincial house and church in Freetown.
Known as the Holy Ghost Fathers, the Spiritans were missionaries drawn from the Catholic Church to spread the gospel of Christ. In 1864, the Spiritans came in Sierra Leone, spreading the gospel of Christ by mentoring young men into becoming priests. As they spread Christ's gospel and nurturing soldiers for Christ, so did they think it fit to serve the communities through education by erecting structures like St. Anthony's Parish 1900, Sacred Heart Parish 1864, St. Edward's Secondary School 1922, Christ the King College 1953, among others. 160 years down the line, their entry into Sierra Leone, Reverend Father Lawrence Bangbaya says the Holy Ghost Fathers have either directly or indirectly impacted the lives of many Sierra Leoneans.
God has fulfilled the hopes of many in Sierra Leone. As a person reflecting on our 160-year celebration, our greatest contribution to this beloved nation for me is hope.
As stated in the book of Deuteronomy 16 verse 16 in the Holy Bible, that no one is to appear before the Lord empty-handed, a proposed construction of Spiritan Provincial House and Church in Freetown was launched.
If you go around the country, I
believe, if I'm not wrong, the maximum capacity of the largest Catholic church did not even take more than 500 people. For 160 years, talking about the Spiritan Fathers. And the Catholic faith is growing. We saw the need to not just have a modern church that can take large numbers of people, but a very comfortable space for our fathers.
The Springtown 160th Anniversary Fundraising Committee disclosed that the funds for the construction of the church and house for the fathers are 30 million new loans. They are, however, calling on members of the public that have benefited from gestures of Holy Ghost fathers to support them in their quest to improve God's work. Emmanuel Samoa, SLBC.
Social Workers Sierra Leone has provided food items to 500 Muslims in the central part of Freetown. President of the association, Hassan Koroma, said the gesture aimed to promote love, friendship and solidarity for the less privileged Muslims within the community. Mohammed Toure has more.
The key focus for this year's iftar by the Social Workers Sierra Leone aimed to serve by sharing and helping others. The yearly iftar was also to promote love, friendship for the less privileged within the Muslim community. According to the president, Social Workers Sierra Leone, they felt it necessary to fulfill one of the essential pillars of Islam. Giving to the needy during Ramadan is a culture that has impacted the lives of Sierra Leone Muslims.
We're actually looking for 500 people, so we hope that they can be able to, because we know last year it was too much, and so last year it was 300, and it's almost our data captured to 400 and something. So this time around we cater for 500. We hope it more exceed, because we don't want people to be stranded for food. Yeah. So this is organized by Sudu Salon and Sisters in Dawas, in collaboration with Social Work Sierra Leone, plus individual sponsors. We hope that Sierra Leoneans can embrace this. Next year I want to take it to another community, so that we can be able to celebrate humanity through Ramadan.
Expressing appreciation to Social Workers Sierra Leone for the kind donation, Chair Lady of Continue, Kadisila, lauded the association, noting that the donation was timely, considering the current trying times as they fast and cold hardly get a meal for the day. They call on other religious bodies to emulate the venture made by Social Workers Sierra Leone. SLBC News, Mohammed reporting.
We're taking a short break with a message on Kush. Today we're having a message from the Paramount Chief, Sama Kailondo Banya of Lower Chiefdom, Kailondo District.
Buresa wana we don't mind me Mohammed Sama Banya. Yena gi ne Lower Chiefdom Kailondo District. Ndeje ba doyu, enyi ba ala tuma Kush. Kamianda mulinya ne awa. Mwabuira pambi mwamu toke kwa tibu ya bubula nya funenge nyanga betu tibu ya bubula mwaida pigo ma mumetika kwewa mulega mamu gepega kweli akoma ipi mukamanga kweli ko mwa ipi na yene abwa muda mawunyu banengbele mvi so mwalo yigi ginawema miao mi ati majama na muta mwala pako mufuna muto omaka yene muna vaya kwa muta mweka na we yene igerelo funigina kaya bitagi gisabye muba takwesa gata taudi anu gata dwajili goma kuna bali tenda huwa wo so mwaida pinoko kwa mboyo ke mwa gometi mane no kukone konele nasa tugo ma ni ati patama kala dwaju alabi yene ye haina aya fo dwaju kona leta ama yira bijigola abolo yira pinagola abolo na leta amala fa kone alapi utawe haina ya madwaju Wibira balala mwambe abolo mulako kone gule mwanenema kenani agule mulamade konele.
Well, that was a message on Kush from Paramount Chief Sama Kailondo Banya of Lower Chiefdom, Kailondo District. It's now time for sports updates. We go over to a sports desk.
It's a warm welcome to Sport Update News. I am a presenter, Esther Marie Samoa, in this edition of the Sport News. Ahead of the highly anticipated 7th edition Amputee African Cup of Nations in Egypt, Sierra Leone squad has been officially announced, comprising 15 players that will compete with all the top African countries in the continent. Abdul Kabir has more.
Amputee football in Africa is taking a big swing, and Sierra Leone has been a driving force behind its formation due to the aftermath of the civil war. After a month of preparation, Sierra Leone national amputee football team, otherwise known as Sembe Boys, has announced a list of players to represent the country in the 7th edition of the Amputee African Cup of Nations in Egypt. Under the guidance of head coach Abraham Bangura, the squad boasts the inclusion of seasoned Turkey-based captain Fode James Lume, whose wealth of experience is poised to play a critical role in the team's performance. The tournament, slated from April 18th to 28th, holds significant stakes as the top 4 teams will secure places to the 2025 Amputee World Cup in France. On his part, the public relations officer, Albert Mali Mustafa, noted the preparedness of the Sembe Boys to outshine their counterpart.
All other African teams going to the African Nations Cup, it is for all African teams to go and demonstrate their talent, prove themselves that they are competent to represent Africa. So in light of that, Sierra Leone is one of the teams that most of the teams are looking forward to see in Cairo, because we are the brain behind Amputee Football Nations Cup in Africa. So as a result of that, we believe we should produce the best team to go to the African Nations Cup so that we can defend Sierra Leone and the green, white and blue.
In a draw that pits them against formidable opponents such as African champions Angola, Tanzania and Rwanda, the Sembe Boys discharge confidence and aiming to leave a marker of success among the 20 participating nations.
And in boxing, the Minister of Sport, Augusta James, has officially launched the 2024 National Boxing Championship and international fight that will feature 2 international boxers from Britain. The ceremony took place at the Sports Zone Arena at Lumley Beach in Freetown. Here is an excerpt of the launching ceremony.
This year is indeed a year of sport for Sierra Leone. A lot of competitions. But today, boxing has shown us that as a government, we have to pile more effort to make sure that reality of their dreams is in on. So on that note, I want to continue to tell you to put on the upward trend, and we will fight it very hard to make sure that the Ministry of Finance understands it and gives you what you deserve to make this competition a reality. And I want to take the opportunity on behalf of government to present a very succinct and laudable venture, which is the promotion of the ocean this afternoon.
Thank you.
Well, that's it for Sports Updates and News. I have been your presenter, Esther Marisa Marcin. Goodbye. Keep watching TSLBC.
Many thanks to Esther Marisa for the Sports Updates, and now to end the news. The main points again. President Julius Maada Bio has received a delegation from the United Arab Emirates led by Sheikh bin Nahyan Al Nahyan. The Vice President, Dr. Mohamed Julde Jallow, has commissioned the Leon Rock Metal Group's 30 million tons per annum processing and heavy fuel oil power plant, which is a $500 million investment. The plant, if completed, according to the Vice President, will double the production of the company's iron ore and increase revenue generation in the country. And the Sierra Leone Law School has played host to the country's first elected judge at the International Criminal Court, Justice Miata Samba, to do a public lecture on the procedural phases of the International Criminal Court systems. Well, that's all we can share for now in this edition of the News Hour. Thanks for staying with us. I've been your presenter, Daphne Zainab Kamara. Good night.